What really I found troubling, I got to tell you, as a lawyer, I found it troubling because I also practice law in the District of Columbia, is that the President of the United States would say that crime is out of control. I take exception to that. Crime is not out of control in the District of Columbia. And I would like to ask Mr. Trump, where were you last month when a 3-year-old child, Honesty Cheadle, was shot and killed as the result of crime in the District of Columbia? I didn't hear Mr. Trump speaking out then, and so I want Mr. Trump to do something for the district. Continue to have the federal officers partner with the district officers to try to bring down crime. But don't use this as a pretext to actually eradicate home rule, and that seemed to be what Mr. Trump is interested in.
And of course, he's been very clear about that. Now, that is a contributor to Fox News, Ted Williams, who is pointing out that what Trump is saying about crime is just not true. It's just not remotely true. You can see the numbers right here. They've been trending down for several years. There was a point where it was bad, if we could bring that up. And now it's trending down. It's lower than it was for years during his presidency. And again, to an earlier point that JR had made, there's like two ways that you could talk about this. Like even if you were serious or whatever. So let's say there's homelessness and there's slums. You could say, oh my God, this is America. And yet we have all of this. So I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna help those homeless people. I'm gonna help those people who've been forced in America to live in slums. That is worlds away from any way that he's ever talked about this. No. It's not that we have slums. It's that we have a country, and in our country, there are those homeless people and those slums. And don't worry, I'm gonna get rid of them. They're not a victim of a system that has like cast them aside, left them behind. I'm gonna get rid of them. And I'm gonna be really vague about what exactly that means. So Trump is announcing he's getting rid of homeless people. Where? Like, this is not a rhetorical question. Literally, where are you sending them? But the issue is, there's those of us who might ask that question and he's not gonna answer it. And then there's the people who the message is to and they don't care. They literally don't care. They have been trained on years of Jesse Waters that the homeless are a thing you get away from your area to presumably some area where I guess they're not gonna do the exact same thing. And let's just face like the dark reality. And I've said this before when we've had to talk about Jesse Waters. There is a number, I don't know exactly what the number is, of millions of Americans that if Trump literally just announced, we have created the world's biggest wood chipper and we are gonna begin feeding homeless people into it, they would cheer for that. I don't know if that's 5 million people, 20 million people. They do not care at all what happens to these people. Put them into the wood chipper, send them to the middle of the desert, let them die of exposure. They don't care. It's not a problem for the homeless people. The homeless people are a problem for them. And whatever is going on with the slum, and again, it doesn't even have to be based in reality. He's just picking and choosing some historically thought of black cities and saying those are the bad places, we're gonna clean them up or whatever. Again, to distract from Epstein and all of his failures and all of that. And meanwhile, the red states, your Mississippi's and all that have higher rates of gun violence than New York City, never talked about. It's not an issue. The closest they'll come is Atlanta. Okay, that's the closest they'll come to admitting this. And so that's like the bait and switch and the propaganda of this. It's all designed to try to put him back on more comfortable footing politically. Don't focus on the chaos internationally. Don't focus on the self-destructive trade policy, the rising prices, the falling employment, terrible jobs numbers that you have to fire people to cover up. Certainly do not think about the Epstein files, JR. No, there's these out of control 14-year-old black teens in DC. Master blasters dragging you out of your car. Focus on that. That's what he wants.
It's the same playbook. I mean, again, none of this is new. It's authoritarianism. It's Nazism. It's what they've done. There's a scapegoats that they always use to be the ones that you're supposed to be afraid of. If you're afraid of them, you're on the right side. And therefore, when you see us go after these folks, including unhoused folks, go after them because they're not really humans. You always lose people's humanity. And once they know enough people have detached from those people having any kind of human traits, you can do whatever you want to them. Look what we're watching happening in the Middle East, bro. Look at watch how much we're spending in annihilating human beings, newborn children. They looked up and saw enough of us, were like, but they're being human shields with that lie. And they're ready for it. We watched our own American children be shot up in schools for decades. They're like, whatever, doesn't matter to me. They're like, this is great. I think the soil is nice and fertile now for those next steps. So now no matter who it is, all they have to do is say they're being criminals. They're criminals. Those folks that just stand there against you and say, I'm gonna film the criminal activity that you're doing, and you get attacked with pepper spray, they know enough people are gonna come back and go, but maybe they shouldn't have been there. They know that they've set the stage for that. So it's not like Donald Trump was the first to do it. He just took advantage of this many years of prep for it. So the only thing left is to look ahead, like people were doing during the campaign, and stop those next steps. Because the steps that they're putting in place, they've already set the stage for. And I saw someone point out, maybe we should look at those next steps of the 45 to 50% of the project 2025 that's been implemented already, and start stopping those next steps.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And by the way, I would love, we're showing you like CNN's like, hey, crime's actually down and all that. And there's been good, everybody's talking about it. They're actually like pointing out the facts. I would have loved to have seen that last year, actually, when Trump was running on the same myths. I would have loved to have seen that when it really mattered.
And John, what does it do, right? What does it do? What's that guy, that guy who on Fox News who said,
Ted Williams.
I wanna ask Donald Trump this, if crime is so down, don't ask him anything. Donald Trump doesn't answer those questions. He doesn't care. He doesn't care that he's a liar. As we've seen poll numbers have him so low, he goes, poll numbers, they're at 98%. He doesn't care. So asking him is to get people to see him as a hypocrite. The people who support him don't care that he's a hypocrite. They like the authoritarianism. There's no asking questions anymore.
That's true.
That's over.
Yeah. By the way, in terms of not answering questions, can we just finish with graphic 7? It sums up perfectly what all of this was about. The president ends his news conference ignoring shouted questions about the Epstein case. Yeah. He doesn't want to talk about the criminals that might be unveiled in the Epstein case. By the way, this is what I'll close on. Donald Trump's like, there's these roving mobs and gangs. Just picture some really scary black 16-year-olds or whatever. And a lot of that is invented. But there was actually, admittedly, there was a gang in DC, a violent mob of people. They tried to overturn the results of an election. And what did Donald Trump do? For the hundreds and hundreds of violent thugs in that crowd, he released them back out into the world, where many of them recidivated and committed other crimes. He's talking about like, you're disrespecting cops. You get in their face, you scream at them, you spit at them. That's when the shooting should start or whatever. Yeah, those people tried to kill cops. Some of the cops did die actually, and he set them all free. He set every single one of them free. And again, the fact that MAGA doesn't get that hypocrisy, even when it's violence against cops, gross.